This is a very interesting set. It's a idea based completely on matrices. Whenever you look at this set, the first thing you will notice is this matrix. That is how it was presented in the actual paper. So let us read the information first, and I'll explain as we go along. This is something which I solved in the paper. So whatever came in my mind in the sequence it came, I'll try to portray that. So let's look at the informations here. So first thing, there are 7 elective courses, E1 to E7, in a specific term in a college. Each of the 300 students enrolled had just one elective among these seven. So everybody is picking a different elective. So that's a good thing. However, before the start of the term, E7 was withdrawn, as in whatever be the reason. The students who adopted for E7, sorry, what did I say? I just said adopted. Sorry for that. Who had opted for E7 were allowed to join any of the remaining electives. So the ones who joined E7 were now being able to shift to some other elective. Also, the students who had chosen other electives were given one chance to change their choice. So everybody can switch, something like that. Not only the ones who are in E7 can move to other electives, but everybody can do that, right? The table below captures the movements of the students from one elective to another during this process. So let us redraw this table, because anyhow, if it's a matrix, you are supposed to draw the matrix. If the matrix is not drawn for you, and when the cases where matrices are drawn, I hope you can see there are missing information. Typically, you would be targeting to fill up those missing information. So you have to draw the table separately. So let's do that quickly. Okay, so I just on the layout. Let me fill the values here. So we have 9, 5, 10, 1, 4, 2, blank 34, 8, blank 2, 2. Then we have 2, 6, 25, couple of blanks, and last is 2. Then we have a blank, then 3, 2, 14, and 4. We have a 5 here and a 30 here. We have a 7, 3, 2, and 9. We have a 4, 16, 30, 5, 5, 41. Now, as matrices go, the totals are important. So first of all, the grand total is 300. You know that. So this is the total, and this is just one more thing. I just thought about it, because we know that there is like this from elective to to elective thing that is given, right? So these are the from the electives to the electives, right? So this has been presented in the actual premise, just in a very light manner. But then let us try to understand how this movement is happening. So suppose from E3, the number of people who are moving to E1. So that is how we should capture it, right? So this is the from elective and this is the to elective. That is how the table is indicated, isn't it? So from E3 to E1, there are two people who are moving, right? Now, what I mean by that is, when we are looking at the total. So first of all, understand what are the totals. This is very indicative in a different way also, because if you think about it, if we have 7 rows, so these rows total should be the initial total, right? Because before the change, we had 7 electives. And after the change, we had 6 electives. So obviously, if there are 7 rows, those rows total should be indicating the initial value, right? So these are the initial values, these values for each of the electives. And these are the final values, right? So the column totals. So E1, E2, E3, E4, E6, E5, and E6. So that should be ideally what we have. So let us understand how to go ahead with this. And let me try to reduce the size of the table a bit. Then we can indicate that. But before that, let's do the totals first. So anyhow, whatever total we know as of now. So 9, 5, 24, 24, 34, 35, 39, 41. Uh, sorry, 9, 5, 14, sorry, my bad. So that is 31. 9, 5 is 14. I just noticed that. So 9, 5 is 14. Let me check that again. 24, 25, 29, 31. Yeah. 34 and 8, 42 and couple of 2. So that is 46. But there might be something more. So I'll indicate that by something like this. Whichever row and whichever column has some blanks, so I'll just put a plus and something, I don't know. So 2, 6 is 8, 25, 8 plus 2 is 10 and 25, so that is 35. Then you have 3 and 2, 5, and this is 18, so 23, plus again a blank. 5 and 30, so this is 35. 7, 3 is 10, and this is 11, so that is 21. So don't read these numbers as minus. So this is plus and then a blank. I don't know what is that blank indicating. That is what I'm trying to do. 4, 16 is 20, 20 and 30 is 40, 50. And then you another have 10, you have another 10. So 20, 30 and 10. So that is 60 plus 41. So that is 101. So this is filled up. No need for blanks. This is straight away up. Now the columns 9, 2 and 4. So that is 11 and 4, 15 plus something. 5, 34. Okay, 34 and 6 is 40. Then you have 3 and 7, which is 10. So that is 50. 5 and 5 is another 10. So that is 60. And 16 is 76. So that is 76. 8 and 2 is 10. Then you have another 10. So that is 20. This is 30. That is 40. I'm doing the right thing, but when I say it, I mess up saying it. So 3 and 2 is 5, 5 and 25. So let's do in a different way. So 3 and 2 is 5, 5 and 25 is 30, 30 and 10 is 40, 40 and 30 is 70, and that is 78. So, but there is a blank, so let us use that thing. 1, 14, 15 plus 5 is 20. Then you have 4 to 2 is 8, plus 5 is 13, 30 is 43. 2 to 2, 4 is 10. That is for 50, so that is 16 total. Plus again a blank. So this is what we have. Now let me just reduce the size. Great. So this is what we have. Now also let me think about what is the total that we are getting as of now in terms of column or row. That should be the same value anyhow. So let me verify that. The 76 and 78 is 150, 154. 15 and 43 is 68. So 154 and this is 58. So that is what, 212. And then 20 and 60 is 80. So we already have a 292 here, right? And if we check the same thing, just to verify this, whether I made the total correctly or not, 31 and 35 is 66. Then what else better number we have? Nothing. So let's say 46 and 23 and 21. So 21 and 23 is 44. And 44 and 46 is 90. So this adds up to 90. And then you have 35 and 101, which is 136. So 136 and 66. So that is 202 and 92, 92. Yeah. So that is matching. So basically no mistakes from the totals. So what we have is 292 already. So that's a good thing because the blanks will be having a total of 8 remaining, right? So the blanks, let me just write that. The blanks will have 8 left to be filled. So let's get into that. Now, we had read till this point the table below capture. So let's see. Movement from one elective to the same elective simply means no movement. This was anyhow obvious. So something like, let's say this number 9. So this says E1 to E1. So basically these are 9 people who stick to E1, right? So that is pretty obvious anyhow. Some numbers in the table got accidentally erased. We can see that. However, it is known that these are either 0 or 1. So this is another good thing. We already know there are 8 blanks. The blanks are being filled by at 8 because there is 8 to be filled, right? Because till now the total that we are getting is 292. So the blanks are to be filled by 8. So this is not count of blanks. This is the amount of the blanks or something. But how many blanks do we have? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So we have 12 blanks. Let me do something else. What I'm going to do is I'm going to circle the blanks. So this is exactly what I did in the paper because at this moment, when I was reading the question, at this moment, I realized that I'm going to fill up using these additional information. So that is what the additional information should be giving me about, right? So at this point, I realized that if I do not mark those blanks, that is, then I might mess up the column totals or row totals. So that is something I did not want to because I hope you remember I've left these blanks for this purpose only, right? But if I mess it up, I just write the numbers. I might forget that where am I adding those numbers. So just to mark that up, so I did this. I just marked the 12 blanks as these circles. So this is what I'm going to fill. Now it is easy for me to identify which blanks are in the rows and the columns. So this is just a visual thing I did. So the amount that are going to be filled with the blanks is 8, and we have 12 blanks, which indicates a good thing, that the blanks. So let me rewrite this. Just 1 second. Just let me rewrite this. The blanks that we have is going to have 8 values as ones and 4 values, the remaining 4 values, as zeros, because every blank is going to be filled with ones or zeros, right? So out of the 12 blanks, if we need a total of 8 more, so 292 plus 8 is 300, right? So if we need 8 more, so there has to be 8 blanks which are going to get 1, right? But that indirectly also implies that there are 4 blanks which are going to get zeros. So this is what we know initially before even going to the additional information that is provided. So let's get into those information. So further, the following are known before the change process. So this is point number 1 here. Before the change process, there were 6 more students in E1 than in E4. So before the change process, so the before is the initial. So now I hope you understand the significance of this. These are some things I have a habit of, so I can identify. So I hope that in the future sets that you solve, you understand the implication of this, and you will identify beforehand itself. So you'll write this initial and final beforehand. I did it in the paper. I did write this initial and final before reading these information. So these are the initial values. So we know that initially there are 6 more students in E1 than E4. So if we are comparing E1 total and E4 total in initial, E1 total is fixed, isn't it? E1 is 31. So the E4 has to be 6 less than that. So it has to be 25. So the 25 means this is going to be 2, the blanks. And there are exactly 2 blanks. So that means this has to be 1 and this has to be 1, right? So both of these are 1. So that is done. Now, the next thing, after the reshuffle, the number of students in E4 was 3 more than that in E1. So after the reshuffle is the column total. So the column of E4 and column of E1. Now there is a problem. We don't know how many are these, right? But let me explain one idea in 2 different ways. I hope the first way itself will be sufficient, but I will give you an algebraic way to understand this. What we know is the E4 total has to be 3 more. That is what is written. So let me just take off this underline. So now I hope you can read this. E4 was 3 more than in E1, right? So E4 total, this total is 3 more than this total. That is how you can interpret visually, right? Now understand this, the constant part first. If you look at this value, this E4 value, this has already a certain total, right? And same with the E1 value. This is already 5 more, isn't it? But we need 3 more. So the blanks are going to interact in this way, that from this blank should be 2 more. What I mean by that is, suppose I indicate this with a variable A, or let me write this A below, this A and this with B. The A has to be 2 more than B. Okay. Now, if you understand these kind of things quickly, the only thing that is going to be happening is you're going to save some time every now and then. If not, you can always do this. You can just assume this to be A and B and now frame an equation that 15 plus A plus 3 is equal to 20 plus B. You'll automatically get the same thing. But I hope that you practice this a bit, the constant part and the missing part interaction. So I hope that was clear. So I'll just repeat this once again. Because the constant part is already 5 more and we need a 3 more, so it has to be 2 more in this direction, right? So reduce that by 2, something like that. So now let us get to how to use this information. So we know that this A is 2 more than B, right? Now look at the blanks on each of these columns. E1 has 4 blanks and E4 has 4 blanks. So what could be these values? First of all, if I pick up 0 and 2 for A and B, B and A respectively, this is not even possible, because I hope you remember there are 4 zeros, right? Let us focus more on this part because this is less in number. 4 is a less in number than 8, right? So let us focus on the 4 zeros that we can fill up. Now, if B is 0, all of these blanks will be 0, isn't it? But then A becoming 2 implies that there will be only 2 of these blanks getting ones, which means that 2 more will be zeros. But how can we have 6 zeros in this entire table? We just have 4 zeros available to us, right? So B0 and A2 is not possible. So if you can do this without even writing this case, that will be effective. So I'll just take this case off. So B0 and A2 is not possible. What else? If B is 1 and A is 3, this might be possible, because if B is 1, that means that one of these blanks gets a 1. Let's say hypothetical one, this one gets a 1. And these 3 gets 0. And same thing, if A gets 3, then already there's a 1 here, but then 2 more gets 1. So let me put dots for 1. And this one gets a 0. So we have 4 zeros and the rest of it could be 1, right? So this is possible. We cannot eliminate this case as of now. And B equal to 2 and A equal to 4 is also possible. This anyhow cannot be eliminated, right? So these two cases are possible, B1, A3 or B2, A4. So let's come back to this later on. So this is what we have from point number 1. Let's go to point number 2. Point number 2 says the number of students in E2 increased by 30 after the change process. So E2, whatever it was before the change process, it increased by 30. So this is the initial value, this is the before value, and this is the after value, right? Now check this out. I mean, after value is fixed, that is 76. So if E2 is increased to 76 by an increase of 30, that means the before value has to be 46. So if it is 46, this is 0, implies each of the blanks on this row has to be 0 each, right? Which automatically also takes out this second case, A4 and B2. Because if A has to be 4, then each of these blanks had to be 1, right? Which is not possible now because one of them is 0. So we are out of this. So that tells us A is 3, and automatically that tells us that these two blanks have to be 1, right? So this A is 3, we can fill this out. And this B is 1, we can also fill this out. But right now we cannot say which of these 3 blanks, this one, or this one, is getting that 1. So let us leave that. But we are almost there, right? So this case is also out. So I'll just take it off. So we don't need this to keep as a separate information. So I've already filled it up here, and I'll take this A and B thing off. So I know this thing. So that is known to us, but E4 will get one somewhere here, right? Which is telling me something very, very important. Because there is just one of these 3 blanks getting 1, whichever it is, the remaining 2 blanks should get a 0, right? Now, if you remember, there are 4 zeros. Now, if there are 4 zeros, 2 you can already see, right? This one and this one. Now, 2 more are going to happen on this column, whichever 2 that is. So that takes up 4 zeros. What it means is, everything except for this column, we cannot figure out which are the 2 that get 0, but everything except of that column, all the other blanks that we have must get a 1, right? Because there is going to be 2 more zeros and that's it. There are a total of 4 zeros. So every other blank you can straight away fill up as 1. So now let us make some adjustments. In fact, I cannot, right? Whatever rows that I have, which are missing at this moment, or columns. But yeah, E3 column I can fill up. So this is 1. E1 column, I've already done that. E5, I can do it. E5 is 2. So this is, I'll just write this a bit better. So this is 2. I'll write the total separately as well. And E6, this will be 1, right? There's just one blank and that is getting a 1. So the columns are almost done. So we can just figure out these totals now. 18, this is 76, this is 79, this is 21, this is 45, and this is 61, right? So these are all already done. Now, but the rows are remaining. So let us look at the next information. Now 3 says, before the change process, E4 had 2 more students than E6. Before the change process, E4, we already know the total. E4 before the change process is 25, right? And E4 had 2 more students than E6. So E6 should have 23, which means that this has to be a 2. So both the blanks have to be 1. So this 1 is done. And if you remember, E4 was the only doubt. So if this is 1, then these two are 0 and our table is complete. I don't even require this information to complete the table. So this is done. So now let us fill this up. E3 is 1 here. E5 is getting 3 blanks, each of them 1. So this is 3 here. So let us get these totals done as well. So I'll just extend this a bit. I'm just rewriting this so that I don't have any problems later on. This is something I do always so that later on I can easily evaluate these kind of things. I don't have to work around again. So this is 31, this is 46, this is 36, this is 25, this is 38, this is 23, and this is 101. So you can strike this off as well. So that is our table, right? So now let us get into the questions. Okay, so first question number 17. So how many elective courses among E1 to E6 had the decrease in their enrollments after the change process? So this is something we have to look at each and every before and after. So let's look at that. So these are the befores and these are the afters. So row wise and column wise, something like that. So this is 31 and this is 18. So that's a decrease, right? So there is definitely one. 46 to 76, that's an increase. So don't take a note of that. 36 to 79 is also an increase. 25 to 21 is a decrease, right? So I'm just going one after the other in this direction and in this direction. I'm not even looking at the names. If you do this properly, that is never a problem. So 25 to 21, there's a decrease. So that's another. 38 to 45 is not an increase. 23 to 61 is not a decrease, right? So there are only two of them which are decreasing. So 17, the answer is option C. You can mark that. Now moving to the next one, this is a direct question. So this is asking for after the change process, which are the following is the correct sequence of number of students in the 6 electives E1 to E6. So that is these values and in sequence. So you can just verify this. It's very quickly you can do this. 18, 76, 79, 21. So that is option D, right? I mean, 18, 76, 79, that was matching till here, but then 23 is not matching. So you can straight away mark option D. So 18 is D. 19, after the change process, which course among E1 to E6 had the largest change in its enrollment as a percentage of its original enrollment? So we have to think in terms of percentage. So let's look at the values. So E1, we have put it in this way, whichever has a higher percentage will have a lower ratio of final to initial, right? Or higher ratio. I mean, it depends on whether there's an increase or decrease. Okay, let me not take that, or let me directly do this. So otherwise you might get a bit confused. It depends on how comfortable you are with ratio. So let's look at it directly only. So the change for E1 is what? 13. Excuse me, the change in E1 is 13, but that is out of 31, right? So that's roughly 40%. Let us look at E2. E2 is changing from 46 to 76, right? So that is 30 out of 46. So 30 out of 46 is much more than 40%, right? So this is straight away out. E1 cannot be the answer. This is roughly a little more than 30 out of, a little less than actually 30 out of 45. 30 by 45 would be 2/3, so that is 66%. So this is slightly less than 66%. Okay. E3 is 36 to 79. So that's a considerable increase. So that is increasing by 43 out of 36, right? That's even more than 100%. So you can definitely strike this out. So the change is 43 out of 36, right? So we can definitely strike the previous one out. And E6 is also in the option. So E6 says an increase from 23 to 61. Wow, that's almost triple, right? So definitely much more than this. So 61 out of 23. The increase bit is what? The increase bit is 38. 38 out of 23. Check this out. I mean, 100% of 23 is 23. Then you still have 15 left. That is more than 50%. So this is more than 150%. And this is definitely not more than 150%, right? It's just a little more than 100%. I mean, maybe something around 120% or something, slightly less than that. But this is more than 150%, right? So we can definitely mark the answer here. So answer is E6. Now, finally, this question number 20. Now, I want to discuss something about this question number 20. First, let's read the premise. So the question number 20 says, later the college imposed a condition that if after the change of electives, the enrollment in any elective other than E7 drop to less than 20 students. Now, the other than E7 is silly, but it makes sense because E7 is supposed to drop to less than 20 because there are 0 students after the change. So any elective, if that is the total is dropping to less than 20, then all the students who left that course will be required to re-enroll for that elective. Now, there is definitely one course that we can find which is dropping to below 20, right? Now, that is not what I wanted to discuss. See, when I was at this question, I thought about something. I'll just mention you what I thought about. Now, before I get into that, one thing you should be able to capture very quickly. Now, what does this question say, or the context in the question say? If there is any elective which is having the number of students less than 20 after the change, so these values, and that is why I circled this out, then everybody who left that elective should be rejoining that elective, isn't it? Now think about it, which people have actually left that elective. Remember that from elective to elective thing. So these are the individuals who have left E1, isn't it? We are talking about E1, right? So let's say this 9 is staying. Oh, okay, that is very silly to think about. But everything apart from that, right? So this entire part is actually leaving E1, right? So for example, this 5 is going to E2. This 10 is going to E3. So I hope this part was understood, because once you understand this, then you will be able to understand what I'm going to say next. I was worried about something at this stage. The thing I was worried about is, suppose I get those people back to E1, and because of that, some other electives number drops below 20. That might happen, right? Then I have to do that adjustment once again. So I have to get people back to that elective also. That is what the condition is saying, right? So that is the only thing I checked before I thought about solving this question. So let us check this. Now, try to understand these kind of things. If you understand very quickly, that is very good. So I'll just explain to you a bit of analysis, and then I'll come to this. So how are these numbers going to change once you get back the people to E1? So this 5 is going to come back to E1, the 10, the 1, the 4, the 2, everything, each of these students are going to come back to E1, right? So this total of numbers is going to be added to this 18, right? So that is going to be added to this 18. But what about the other electives? So if you think about E2, for example, this 76 is going to reduce by this 5, right? The 79 is going to reduce by this 10. The 21 is going to be reduced by 1. So now I hope you can see what I was looking at. This is the value this is the only value that I checked, because I wasn't too much worried about numbers like 76 or 79 or 45 or 61, because how much will they drop by? I mean, not a considerable amount, right? They cannot go below 20. So the only thing I checked is this E4 column. So E4, there is 21 people. Even if it drops by this one, that is not an issue, right? Because it still is 20. You need to have below 20 to actually activate this thing. So now I actually solved it. So so let us calculate the readjustment, and then we have to figure out this answer, because you're looking for the correct sequence. I hope you get that point. So now let me do that. So first of all, let me figure out this E2, E3 and all. So let me take 5 out of this, so that is 71. Let me take a 10 out of this, so that is 69. Let me take a 1 out of this, so that is 20. 4 out of this, that is 41. And 2 out of this, that is 59. I hope you understood that. 5 out of 76, 10 out of 79, 1 out of this, and so on. And just simply add these numbers. So 5, 10, sorry, these numbers I mean. So this 5, 10, 1, 4, 2. So that is what 5, 10, 1 is 20. And you have 6. So that is basically 26 added. So just add 26 to 18. You get a total of 34, right? So 5, 10. Oh, sorry. What did I do? What I meant to say is 5, 10, 1, 4 is 20. I just missed saying that. 5, 10, 1, 4 is 20, plus 2 is 22. So just add 22. So you get 40. So these are the numbers. So we just need to arrange these numbers in sequence, right? So the lowest, I think you can see, or we are looking for the decreasing order. So decreasing order, the highest is E2. So this is the first position. The second position is this. The third position is this. The fourth position is this. The fifth is this, and the sixth is this, right? Let's look at that. So E2 first, E3 next. So E2 and E3. So option C and option D is out. We need E2 first, then E3. And what is the disparity? Okay, next thing will answer me. After E2 and E3, we have E6, right? So E6 in the third position is an option A. So that's the answer. So answer is option A in this case. So I hope this case was understood, and let's get into the analysis now. Yeah. So the difficulty of this set, I I have to say easy because there is not too much into it. I would also write a little time consuming because I mean, please understand. I mean, time consuming is not a criteria to make mark a set as on a higher difficulty level. So, in terms of difficulty level, I would say the set is easy. There is not much to do. There is few things that you have to analyze, and you should be able to analyze once you are taking CAT. From this is all of these analyses are from the perspective of CAT. That I mean, when you are ready for CAT, that sort of thing. So difficulty wise, this is easy. A little time consuming because of one factor definitely being you have to redraw the entire thing. That is obviously the best way to go about it. You cannot do this without redrawing the table. But then also the last question, a little bit more time it would take. So a little time consuming here and there. So just because of the time consuming part, I would say this set might require somewhere in the range of 7 to 9 minutes. So I'm putting again a wider range here. The only reason being it depends on how comfortable you are with matrices and all. Because if you don't mark these kind of circles that I did in this set, you might mess up these columns and row totals, and you might not be analyzing them properly. So identifying the key factors in a set are also very important. This is something we actually talked about in our LR strategy session. So if you have not watched the video, just go to a channel and watch it. I have uploaded it there. So in that session, we did talk about a little bit of how to connect the information, drawing implicit information. I've taken examples also. These solutions that we are providing, I hope that is also helping you to understand that how we are connecting the information, how we are visually representing it. So that is a very important part. So enough said and done. So this is just to conclude. This is an easy set, but a little time consuming. In the paper, if you are comfortable with matrix, you should definitely do this. Even if you're not, you may give it a shot depending on the other sets, what sort of difficulty level is them they have. So if you're not very comfortable in matrix and something, so you might skip a set like this at the first round. Maybe revisit it if you are not finding enough sets to solve otherwise, because it's not a tough set to solve. Just need to sit with it and solve it. Some simple as that. So that is what I wanted to share in the analysis. I hope you had fun in the set. Thank you.